everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rhiannon and today I'm bringing you guys a book haul. Before diving into the video though, I do just want to say a massive sorry for kind of disappearing off the face of the earth recently. I've had a few tough weeks, mainly because I have been grieving, but also because I have tested positive for COVID-19 for a second time. I am currently in isolation, I am still testing positive, which is why I may sound a little bit unwell throughout this video, but I really wanted to get this filmed for you guys, and this is the first day that I'm actually feeling a lot better and a lot more like myself. So I thought I would sit down now and film this video for you guys because it has been a long time coming, let me tell you. I do normally try and keep to my one book haul a month schedule, but because of everything that's been going on, I haven't been able to achieve that. So this is a culmination of the books that I've bought in February and March so far, and I'm not really planning on buying any more books this month, so this should be the lot. If I do end up buying more books or if I receive any more books, I will include those in my next book haul. So I hope that's okay with you guys. I'm really happy to be back here filming videos again. And I'm even happier because, guys, we are 40 subscribers away from 4,000 subscribers on this channel. I honestly couldn't believe it. I did check my stats the other day just out of curiosity and to reply to any comments that have been left on my videos, and I saw that and I kind of freaked out. Now I know because I've been away that the engagement might not be as great anymore, but I did just want to use this opportunity to say that if you're new here, please do consider subscribing to my channel. I post mainly bookish videos, but I do want to branch out a bit of my content as well, and having you guys join my little corner of the internet truly does mean the world to me. I can't even put it into words how thankful I am for each and every single one of you. So if you are a regular viewer or you're new and you just haven't clicked that subscribe button yet, please go ahead and do that before diving into this video. I am going to be hosting a giveaway once I hit 4K as well, and I will of course find another way to celebrate with you guys too. Right, that is it for the long intro. Sorry about that, guys, but without further ado, let's just dive into the books. So I have my little pile here to the side of me, and I'm gonna go through the books that have been sent to me first, whether that is by a publisher or gifted. I have been pretty spoiled this month, so I did just want to put those front and centre. And then kicking off this stack, I have an ARC of Gideon Green in black and white by Katie Henry. You may be able to tell that this is an ARC copy, which is an advanced reader copy, meaning that I have been gifted this book before its release date to read and review. So thank you so much to Harper360YA for sending this book my way. This is a book that I actually requested because it sounds like exactly my type of thing. It is a murder mystery, but it also has a bit of comedy sprinkled in throughout, and I just think this is going to be a really good book. So for this one, I am just going to read you guys the synopsis because that's what hooked me. I don't really know anything else about the story itself. This is going to be one of my next reads though, so definitely keep an eye out in any vlogs that I do or favourites videos if it makes it into that. But firstly, on the back it says, Truly Devious meets Turtles All the Way Down in critically acclaimed author Katie Henry's YA comedic mystery, a hilarious send-up of the hard-boiled detective genre that spotlights family, friendship and love. If you guys don't know, I absolutely love the Truly Devious books. They're one of my favourite murder mystery series ever, so instantly I'm intrigued. And then the synopsis reads, Gideon's short-lived run as a locally famous boy detective ended when middle school started and everyone else, including his best friend Lily, moved on, while Gideon kept holding on to his trenchcoat, fedora and treasured film noir collection. Now he's 16 and officially retired. That is until Lily shows up suddenly at Gideon's door needing his help. He might be mad at her for cutting him off with no explanation, but Gideon can't turn down a case. As a cover, Gideon joins Lily on the school paper. Surprisingly, he finds himself warming up to the welcoming, close-knit staff, especially Tess, the cute, witty editor-in-chief. But as the case gets bigger than Gideon or Lily could have anticipated, Gideon must balance his black and white quest for the truth with the full colours of real life, or risk a permanent fade to black. Doesn't that just sound amazing, you guys? I cannot wait to get to this one. As I mentioned, it will be pretty soon. And once again, a massive thank you to Harper360YA for sending this book to me. Next up, we have Rainbow Grey by Laura Ellen Anderson. This book was very kindly sent my way by Victoria from What Victoria Read, who is honestly one of the nicest people in this community. She does also have a booktube channel herself, so I will include a link to that down below for you guys, so please do check out Victoria's channel if you haven't already. But she did send me a little note, and it does just say, we all know that books are the best medicine, and I hope this lovely ray of middle grade joy, pun fully intended, helps distract you when you're feeling rough. enough. And it really did. Thank you so much, Victoria, for this. I genuinely wasn't expecting it. I always say this, but nobody ever has to send me a book. This community itself is just the most welcoming community that if I'm ever having a bad day or have gone through a bad time, I can turn to the people in this community and instantly feel better. So the fact that you went out of your way to send me a book to make me feel even better is just absolutely mind-boggling to me. But thank you so much. It meant the world. And this is a book that I've been wanting to get to for the longest time, so I'm so excited to finally own a copy. If you couldn't tell, this is a middle grade book. It also has stunning sprayed edges, which I adore, but this is the author of the Amelia Fang series, which is one that I have wanted to check out myself for a while. I just haven't gotten around to purchasing the first book, but I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book in particular, and the second book, which I believe is being released pretty soon. So I did end up adding it to my wish list, and of course Victoria picked this one out for me. This book does kind of remind me of the Tinkerbell films. If any of you have watched them, you might get that reference. If you haven't, please watch them. I don't care how old you are, those films are amazing. But essentially we have these magical people, but their magic revolves around the weather, which is such a cool concept. Our main character, Ray, though, unfortunately does not have any magic, but she really wishes she does so that she can be like her friends. One day though, a forbidden trip to Earth kind of turns Ray's world upside down, and because of this she has to dig deep inside of herself to find her inner power. I'm guessing that there's a lot of adventure in this book, and of course enemies, which she will need to battle once she kind of finds this inner power within herself to save her friends and to let her true colours shine. So this just sounds amazing. This is also one that I'm going to be reading in April. I am going to be reading it as part of the Magical Hopathon hosted by Rachel over at Rachel Kerris, because one of the prompts for that readathon is to read a middle grade, so this was just perfect timing. I'm so excited for it, and thank you once again to Victoria for sending it my way. The next book I have to show you is The Cottage by Lisa Stone. Once again, this was very kindly gifted to me, which just blows me away again, so thank you very much, Liam, for sending this book my way. Once again, we do have the little note inside, and it says, "Hey Fiona, sorry to hear you've not been feeling great. Hope this perks you up a bit. Always here if you need to chat, from Liam," which is just lovely, and a massive thank you once again, Liam. You really didn't need to send me anything. You are one of my main supporters here on YouTube and on other social media, so the fact that you went out of your way to send me something to make me feel a little bit better has just meant the world, so thank you so much. This is actually a book that was recently recommended to me over on Instagram. I think it was Kirsty who sent me a message to say that she thinks that I would enjoy this book, and that was because I was reading another thriller at the time. So I had a look at it. It sounded pretty scary, and of course I added it to my wish list. As per usual with my thrillers, I'm just going to read you the back because I honestly have no idea what this book really is about, and I feel like the synopsis for thrillers is the best way to gauge the story, so that's what I'm going to do. It says, "An isolated cottage, a tap at the window, a forest that hides many secrets. After losing her job and boyfriend, Jan Hamlin is in desperate need of a fresh start, so she jumps at the chance to rent a secluded cottage on the edge of Coleshaw Woods. Very quickly though, things take a dark turn. At night, Jan hears strange noises and faint taps at the window. Something or someone is out there. Jan refuses to be scared off, but whoever is outside isn't going away, and it soon becomes clear that the nightmare is only just beginning." That sounds absolutely terrifying, and if you guys know me, I don't have the best track records with thrillers in terms of the fact that I get so scared whilst reading them. I have been in a very bad reading slump recently, and I feel like thrillers are the books that I turn to when I'm in a slump to get me out of a slump, because they're so fast paced and intense, and that is essentially why I popped this on my wish list. So thank you very much, Liam, once again for sending this my way. I'll be sure to pick it up very soon, especially if this reading slump carries on, and I will of course let you know my thoughts on it once I have read it. And then the last book that I was gifted this month is The Extinction Trials by S.M. Wilson. I technically wasn't gifted this book though because I did pay for postage, but my dear friend Chloe over at Chloe Reads Books here on YouTube was doing an unhaul, and she did unhaul this book, and I asked her if I could have it because I've been interested in this book for a while, and she did very kindly send it my way, so thank you so much, Chloe, for this one. As you can see, I do have the little note on there. It says, "I hope you enjoy this book. I still have it on my Kindle, so maybe we could buddy read it. Love, Chloe," which, how nice is that? There you go, so you can see the cover a little bit better now, but Chloe, if you're still up for a buddy read, I definitely would be as well. I feel like this is just going to be such a fun series. For those of you who don't know, Jurassic Park is one of my favourite film franchises. I absolutely love it. I do also love the new adaptations as well, though not as much as the classics, and apparently this is inspired by Jurassic Park and does feature those sort of elements in it. And with me saying that, guys, I have just noticed this little sticker on the front that says The Hunger Games meets Jurassic Park. So I believe The Extinction Trials are going to be like The Hunger Games Games type of thing, where a group of people have to go through these trials and maybe have to kill one another. I'm not too sure, but that itself is just so intriguing to me. And it does say at the top, only the strongest will be chosen, only the reckless will survive. That is genuinely all I want to know about this book. I think this is going to be one that I dive into without really knowing anything, so I'm not going to read the synopsis for this one. That just has me so intrigued. Thank you once again, Chloe, for sending it my way, and even though I'm not 100% sure on when I'll get to this yet, I'm so glad to now have it in my collection. The next book I have is a bit of a different vibe from the first couple, and it's also a different vibe from the next few as well, but I have decided to plonk it right here in the middle, and that is 6 Tudor Queens, Catherine Parr, the Sixth Wife by Alison Weir. I currently have the first 3 books in this Tudor Queen series by Alison Weir. I am also currently in the middle of the second book, which obviously features Anne Boleyn, but I was in Tesco a while back and I saw this one and I believe it was only £5, and last I heard this was only available in hardcover, so when I saw it there in paperback I just couldn't leave it. I decided to buy it then and there, so now I do have 4 of these books in my collection. I do just need to purchase books 4 and 5. This is a historical fiction book that's going to be following the last wife of Henry VIII. Now, what Alison Weir has done throughout this series, or at least throughout the first book and a half that I've read, is that she imagines what these girls are going through as they live their day-to-day lives and as they are married to the King of England, who is obviously now notorious for killing his wives and getting rid of them. What I love about this series though is that it is factual. Alison Weir is a historian. She has a whole catalogue of other novels that I definitely do want to check out, but I decided to start with this one because I'm obsessed with the Tudor era. I love history, and I started reading the first book in this series in the run-up to my trip to London last year when I went to see 6 with Caris from Caris's Corner. I have been bad at keeping up with the rest of the books though. I'm only just getting round to the second book, which is almost a year later, but hey ho, we're getting there. It's getting read and I'm having a really good time with that one too. So again, when I saw this one there, it was quite cheap. I hadn't seen it in paperback before. I just decided to snatch it up to add it to my collection. The next 2 books I'm going to show you are more mystery, thriller, suspense novels. The first of those is an absolute classic, and that is Misery by Stephen King. This is one of the first horrors that I ever watched. I was way too young to watch it. I think it was just on telly one day and I decided to put it on, and not gonna lie to you guys, this film absolutely traumatized me. Kathy Bates in this is amazing. She is so intense, but she plays the role perfectly, and I've only ever watched it the once. I still remember the story though, however a few bits and pieces have escaped my mind. So again, when I saw this book in Tesco in the stunning edition that I am now collecting, they are the new Hodder editions in paperback, I had to buy it. I could not leave it there. This is one that I definitely want to read soon, just because I feel like it would be so much more intense reading the book as well. I do want to see how the book and the film differ to each other, and maybe I can even film a whole reading vlog where I read the book then watch the film. If you guys want to see me be absolutely terrified, that might be a good idea. But essentially in this book we follow an author who has decided to retire, so he decides to stop writing a series that he has been writing for years. Unfortunately, Paul, the main character, does get into a car crash one day and he wakes up in the remote mountain home of his rescuer, Annie. The good news for him is that Annie used to be a nurse, and so she is used to seeing and dealing with his type of injuries. The bad news though is that she has been Paul's #1 fan for years, and she is not happy at all that he has decided to retire and stop writing these novels. And then the last line here just gets me. It says, and when she finds out what Paul has done to Misery, she doesn't like it. She doesn't like it at all. I feel like most of you guys know what happens in this book or this story, so I don't really need to dwell on it too long, but that just sounds terrifying to me. I feel like I'm getting goosebumps all over my skin already, so I cannot imagine what I'm going to be like when I actually sit down to get to this book, but I'm very glad I have it. This edition is absolutely beautiful, and I do have quite the collection of King books now, so I definitely need to get around to starting them. The next book I have is one that I have actually read last year, but up until this point I've never seen a physical copy of it that has been at a reasonable price, and that book is Verity by Colleen Hoover. You guys know how much I love this book. You guys know how much of an effect this book had on me. I genuinely could not stop reading this book. It is so intense. There's twists and turns at the end of every chapter. chapter, and it leaves you in suspense up until the very last page. Now, I didn't think I would ever pick up a Colleen Hoover book because in my mind she is a contemporary romance author, which is definitely not the type of books that I read. This book though was highly recommended at the time. I think a few people had mentioned it in their videos and had recommended it, and I thought, do you know what, I'm gonna give it a go. I think it was on Kindle Unlimited, so I decided to take the plunge, and boy was it a wild ride. I have since recommended it to a bunch of different people. My sister recently read this and she had the exact same thoughts as me, and again on my trip to Tesco I found this book and I decided to pick it up because I think it was only £4 or £5 and it is around £13 online, which I would never pay £13 for a paperback. For me that is just a little bit too expensive, but £5, this was a steal, so I had to buy it and add it to my physical collection. This actually sounds a little bit similar to Misery in the fact that we do have a writer, but one day this writer, who is called Verity, is in an accident. This means that she can no longer write the books that she was planning on releasing, and so another girl is hired to finish out that series, who is our main character, Lowen. Lowen moves into Verity's house with her husband and her daughter just to kind of get a feel for Verity's work and where she wants to go with the rest of this series, to see if there are any plans in Verity's office and things like that. But what she stumbles upon is a manuscript that no one was ever meant to see. This is a very twisted account of Verity's life and certain events throughout her life that have affected everyone around her, including the death of one of her daughters that might not actually be accidental. Lowen is obviously mortified, but she cannot stop herself from reading this manuscript. However, she decides not to share it with Verity's husband as of now because she doesn't want to disrupt this family. But as she starts getting more feelings toward the husband, she is toying with the idea of showing it to him to sort of turn him against Verity and make him fall in love with her. That's all I'm going to say about this one. You should honestly just go ahead, pick it up and read it right away. I will say it is very, very intense and messed up, so please do look up the trigger warnings for this book and make sure that you are in a good state of mind diving into this. It all does come together at the end and it makes sense. However, when you first dive into it, it is a lot, so please be aware of that before diving in. I absolutely love this one though. It had me hooked, like I said, and I finished this one so quickly because I could not put it down, so I had to buy a physical copy when I saw it in store, and once again I'm so glad to have it now and to have it in my collection. The rest of these books are mainly fantasy books, so I am just going to go through them all. I will do the paperbacks first and then move on to the hardcovers. The first one though I won't talk too much about because this one is Winterkeep by Kristen Cashore. Now if you watched my last book haul, which if you haven't I will leave linked up above and down below for you guys, you will know that I did buy the first 3 books in this trilogy, which you can kind of see here, and I couldn't find this book anywhere. However, Claire from Books and Ink sent me a message to say that she'd found it on the works, and I decided to purchase it then and there because I wanted to complete this set and I do want to film a dedicated reading vlog of me reading this series, and I felt like I couldn't do that without having the 4th book. I can't tell you too much about this one because it is the 4th in a series that I haven't even read yet, but this is such a popular YA fantasy series that I'm ashamed to say that I haven't read yet. But now that I own all the books in the series, I am hoping to binge it maybe over summer, film my experience for you guys, and finally hopefully get in on the hype for this series. I do just want to mention as well, I think this was only £2, £2.99, which is why I bought the whole trilogy to start with. They were in a 3 for £5 deal in the works, and then this by itself was £2 or £3. So a very nice bargain on a very popular series for me, and definitely keep an eye out for the vlog of me reading this series because that will be coming in the next few months. Next up is another continuation of a series, and that is City of Dragons by Robin Hobb. You guys are probably sick of hearing me talk about these books by now, but it's an obsession that I have to fuel, you guys, and so each month when I get to the next book in the series I have to buy myself a physical copy. If you look behind me on this shelf you can see all of my Robin Hobb books so far. I am currently taking part in Elderlingalong, which is a read-along hosted by Becca from Becca and the Books for her book club Catch-Up Book Club. In that read-along we are essentially reading every single book in the realm of the Elderling series by Robin Hobb, and this book is the 3rd book in her 4th series in that world, which is crazy to me. I cannot believe how many books we have read by Robin Hobb because they are chunky. Look at the size of these. They are not the shortest. Saying that, this one is a little shorter because it's part of a quartet, so a set of 4 books, not 3. But in this quartet in particular we are following some dragons. Now we have a group of Rainwilders who are kind of shunned from society, and so when these dragons are hatched and are found to be deformed in different ways, these people are tasked with moving the dragons out of this city because the people in this city have essentially had enough of them and they want to get them out of there as soon as possible. So they give these kind of misfits the job of doing this, and they get sent on this mission to move the dragons to a safe place. The people of this town essentially just want to get rid of all of them. They want to get rid of the misfits and they want to get rid of these dragons because they are just a bit of a nuisance for them. What they don't expect though is for the keepers to start going through changes and for them to find something that is truly world changing. Once again, I'm sorry guys, but that's all I'm going to say about this one. I would definitely start with The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb if you do want to get into this world, and if you've been wanting to dive into Robin Hobb's works, I would recommend you check out Becca's initial announcement video for Elderlingalong, because she has a breakdown of the reading order for these, or the reading order that we are doing, and a schedule as well, so you can definitely do that in your own time. I'm so glad that I started this Robin Hobb journey with them. I'm so happy to be continuing. I absolutely love Robin Hobb's world, her writing, her characters, literally every single thing, and it's making me quite sad now to think that we are almost done with the current books in the realm of the Elderling series, but not done yet. I definitely have a few months to go and a few more books will pop up in these hauls along the way, but this is my latest edition. It will fit very nicely on my Robin Hobb shelf, and this is one that I have actually read and have given 4 stars as well, so definitely a strong one. Next up we have another book that I bought for a book club. However, I have not started this book yet, and now I'm about a month behind. But that book is The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker, and I was going to be reading this as part of Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy's book club. As I mentioned though, I haven't started this one yet. I'm desperate to do so though. I just need to get out of this reading slump, because I know if I sit down and try and read a new dense adult fantasy book, I'm going to struggle. So that is why I'm trying to read these thrillers to get out of it, so that I can dive back into these fantasy worlds and really immerse myself in the books. I honestly have no idea what this book is about. I knew it was about dragons and that it was a fantasy that is blurbed by Robin Hobb. So that is essentially why I first picked this up, and then I watched Cassidy's announcement video and decided that I would really love to join this read along for this series. The synopsis for this one says, 2 nations at war, a prize beyond compare. For generations, the 100 Isles have built their ships from the bones of ancient dragons to fight an endless war. The dragons disappeared, but the battles for supremacy persisted. Now the first dragon in centuries has been spotted in far-off waters, and both sides see a chance of a shift in balance of power in their favour, because whoever catches it will win not only glory, but the war. And then it does just say, a brilliantly imagined saga of honour, glory and warfare, The Bone Ship starts an epic new trilogy from David Gemmell Award nominated R.J. Barker, which again sounds right up my street. I love a political fantasy with dragons especially, but if you don't know, I also love stories of honour and bravery. The Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit book by Tolkien are some of my favourite books ever. Those type of stories just instantly grip me and just capture my heart, so I'm hoping that I feel the same with this new series. Like I mentioned, I am behind. I definitely need to catch up, so I am hoping to read this one in the next few days or weeks. Definitely need to hold me to that, guys. By the time I hold the second book, I need to have read the first one, okay? Please keep me accountable. So we have gone through all the paperbacks and we just have a few hardcovers left, and I'm kicking this stack off with one of the most beautiful books that I've ever seen, and that is Gallant by V. Schwab. This is absolutely stunning. So I'm going to show you the cover, and then it also has these sprayed edges which I'm just obsessed with. It does also have art on the end pages, foil embossing on the cover itself, and it is also signed by the author. So this book is just everything. And if you guys don't know, I am a massive V.E. Schwab fan. You can kind of see my Schwab shelf here. I absolutely love her books. I absolutely love Victoria Schwab herself. I have met her at an author signing before. She is just the loveliest person ever, and her books are genuinely some of the best out there. I have loved every single story that I've read from her, be that adult, young adult or middle grade, and I feel like this is going to be no different. This is a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be, but that is completely fine, and I'm not going to read you the synopsis for this book, but I am going to read you a quote on the back. It says, a haunting and beautifully tiled garden of darkness, Gallant unearths the shadows, webs of family history, the price of deadly bargains, and the secrets we guard, plunging readers into a triumphant tale that can't be missed. And that is a quote by Doniel Clayton. Essentially, what I've gotten from this is that it is a beautifully written, gothic-inspired novel, and it involves an old manor, secrets surrounding dead relatives, and an ancient realm where there are ghosts and ghouls, and also a dark master. So this just sounds amazing. I don't know whether I should read it as soon as possible or keep it to read towards Halloween time. Please do let me know. I feel like you guys are going to scream at me to read this now, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm very tempted to, especially because it's quite short. I feel like this is one I could fly through, and hopefully this is one that could get me back in the fantasy mood as well. Next up we have a book that I did pre-order months ago now, so I can't quite remember the synopsis of this book, but from what I remember it sounded absolutely amazing, and that book is The Red Palace by June Hood. For this book it says, if you enter the palace you either die or you survive and become another monster within its walls. There are few options available to illegitimate daughters in the capital city, but through hard work and study, 17-year-old Hyun has earned a position as a palace nurse. All she wants is to keep her head down, do a good job, and perhaps finally win her estranged father's approval. But Hyun is suddenly thrust into the dark and dangerous world of court politics when someone murders 4 women in a single night, and the prime suspect is Hyun's closest friend and mentor. Determined to prove her beloved teacher's innocent, Hyun launches her own secret investigation. In her hunt for the truth, she encounters Yeo-jin, a police inspector also searching for the killer. When evidence begins to point to the crown prince himself as the murderer, Hyun and Yeo-jin must work together to search the darkest corners of the palace to uncover the deadly secrets behind the bloodshed. Which just sounds crazy, but I'm definitely here for it. This book also has a lot of praise, so this first page is just really good quotes about this book that just sings its praises, so I am definitely excited to read this book. You guys know I love a good murder mystery, especially one that's a bit darker as well, and I do believe that this book is set in Korea as well, which will definitely give a new, interesting and different perspective. The next book I have to show you is absolutely beautiful, and that one is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O. And my voice is going a little bit now, so I'm very sorry about that, but we're almost to the end, so I'm hoping that it won't get too much worse. But this book is just stunning, you guys. Look at that cover. I am absolutely obsessed with it, and the story itself just sounds absolutely amazing as well. In this world, deadly storms have ravaged Mina's homeland for decades, and the people of this land believe that it is a curse from the sea god. They believe that they've angered the sea god in one way or another, and so to try and appease this god, a maiden is thrown into the sea every single year as a kind of sacrifice. One day a woman is chosen to be this year's sacrifice, but it turns out to be our main character's brother's betrothed, I think it is, and her brother sort of panics and follows her along to see what's going to happen, and I guess to try and save her, but Mina decides to intervene, and she actually then throws herself into the sea as sacrifice instead of her brother's betrothed. And it just says here, swept away into the spirit realm, a magical city of the lesser gods and mythical beasts, Mina finds the sea god trapped in an enchanted sleep with the help of a mysterious young man and a motley crew of demons, gods and spirits. Mina sets out to wake him and bring an end to the storms once and for all, but she doesn't have much time. A human cannot live long in the land of the spirits, and there are those who would do anything to keep the sea god from waking. And apparently this book is a magical feminist retelling of a classic Korean legend, perfect for fans of Uprooted and Spirited Away. I loved Uprooted, I love mythology. I haven't actually delved into Korean mythology yet, but I'm desperate to do so now. This book sounds absolutely fantastic. It sounds like something that is right up my street, and I think that we are actually getting this book in a subscription box. I won't mention which one, but I'm very excited to see what they do with the cover, if there are any special elements to it, and I think what I'll do is I'll wait to join the read along for this book for when that subscription company sets up the scheduled read along, because I feel like it would be a nice experience to be able to discuss this book and see other people's thoughts on it as well. The last 3 books I'm going to show you guys are some that were sent to me in subscription boxes. If you guys don't know, I am subscribed to both Fairy Loot and Illumicrate, and from March onwards I am going to be receiving the adult only book subscription from Fairy Loot as well. So I'm going to have a lot of subscription box books coming my way. The first book I'm going to mention is one that I haven't actually filmed an unboxing for. It was when I was feeling pretty low and I decided to just open the box once I received it. I didn't really want to film myself at that point, and I didn't want to put off opening the box. I believe that box was the January Fairy Loot, and in that we had Only a Monster by Vanessa Len. This cover is a drastic change to the original, but I much prefer this one. It looks so cool. Not a massive fan of the sprayed edges though, but the cover does make up for it. I will give them a pass on that one. And this is of course a beautiful edition with art on the end pages, art printed onto the book itself, and it is also signed by the author. All I really know about this book is that we deal with monsters, surprise surprise, that's in the title, but I believe that we also have some sort of love triangle in there and an adventure to bring down some enemies as well. And then on the back it says, don't forget the rule. No one can know what we are, what you are. You must never tell tell anyone about monsters. So this does sound like a very intriguing book. I'm not actually sure when I will get to it yet. It's not extremely high on my TBR, but I do want to make it more of a priority to read the books that I receive in subscription boxes, especially because I do receive so many of them. I can't just keep putting them to the side and not picking them up. It's such a waste of money for me, and it's just a bit pointless. So I definitely need to maybe do a vlog series where I read Fairy Loot books in a week or something like that. I think that would be a good way to get me to pick up some Fairy Loot books or Illumicrate books once I have a few of them as well. But this is another stunning book from Fairy Loot. I'm glad that they redesigned the cover, and I am glad to have it in my collection, even though I'm not too sure when I'll get to it. The next book we have is the February Fairy Loot pick, and that was Daughter of the Moon Goddess, which again is just beautiful. We have these stunning sprayed edges, and I have actually filmed an unboxing for this one, so again I will leave it linked up above and down below for you guys if you do want to check it out, get a more in-depth look at the book itself, and also to get the full synopsis, because I'm not going to do that for this or the next book just because I have those dedicated videos. But I have two quotes here on the back that I want to read to you. The first one is by Elizabeth Lim, and it says, "Takes a beloved Chinese legend and reimagines it into a gorgeously spun romantic fantasy." And then the next quote is by Shelley Parker Chan, and she says, "Magnificently conjures the romantic yet dangerous dazzle of this immortal world, but never loses track of the shining human heart of her tale." Which again just sounds lovely. I cannot wait to dive into this one. Again, I'm going to wait for the read-along schedule for this book. It might actually be happening now. If so, I need to get a move on and read it. If not, what I'll do is I will section this off as the read-along suggested and then read it at my own pace, just not with everyone. But I definitely want to get to this one soon. I feel like this is one I'm really going to love, and it does say here that it's a retelling inspired by the Mid-Autumn Legend. And we have finally made it to the last book, guys. You'll be happy to know I am definitely flagging right now, but this is such a beautiful book and we are ending it on a high. So the last one I have to show you is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. Now this was in the February Illumicrate box. This is my first ever Illumicrate book. I'm so excited to be subscribed to that company now because their editions are just stunning, as you can see. I am so excited to dive into this book, you guys. Again, I have an unboxing up for this book, which I will leave up above and down below for you guys, so please do check that out to see the items that were in the box, as well as a more in-depth look on this edition. But this is essentially inspired by Scottish folklore, which, like I mentioned earlier, I'm obsessed with mythology, but I did actually study Welsh at university. I am Welsh. Welsh is my first language, and I have such a deep connection to the Celtic myths, but the Welsh myths in particular. I think that this is going to be so interesting reading a Scottish inspired retelling though, because I'm not too aware of the different Scottish folk tales, so it will definitely give me a chance to delve deeper into those, which I'm really excited about. But yes, this looks absolutely beautiful. I do just need to show you the end pages for this though, because it just looks stunning. And for this one, all I'm going to read out is the first line for you, and it says, "Enchantments run deep in the magical Isle of Cadence." That's all you're getting. That's all you need to know. That should suck you in already, because it definitely did for me. But as I mentioned, I'm desperate to get to this book. I think I will join the community read along for this one as well. And as I mentioned, I'm so excited to be part of the Illumicrate subscription now, especially if the books are going to be this beautiful every month. So you can expect a lot more stunning editions of books in these hauls for months to come. And there we have it, you guys. These are all the books that I've bought recently in the last 2 months. Please do let me know if you've read any of these and leave me your thoughts down below. I love hearing your guys' opinions on certain books, and they might sway me to bump some of these books higher onto my TBR as well. If you've made it this far into the video, please do leave me some book emojis down in the comments. Seeing you guys comment the emoji of the video truly does mean the world to me. It makes my day and just puts a massive smile on my face. So if you're still here, please don't forget to do that. Whilst you're down in the comments, please don't forget to click the like button if you like this video, and the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content from me. I have so many exciting videos coming your way, and even more exciting videos if we reach 4,000 subscribers as well. So if you haven't subscribed, please do consider doing that. But that is it for me today, guys. It feels so nice to be filming videos again, even though I'm still not 100%. I will be very soon. I am going to end this video here though. Thank you guys so much for watching. It truly does mean the world to me, and I will see you soon in my next video. Goodbye!